Buddy. Do 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 do. Bum 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 bum. Buddy. Bum 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 bottom. Alright. But for today's the day. Hello, 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 hello. Hello. Oh boy, today is the day. Today is the day. Freddy. Yes, Freddy the Fazbear. Hello. Hello. I'm not an engineer. Camping was a nice experience. The fire was nice and toasty. Is that what you guys have been doing? Alright, so I'm going to do something that I haven't done before. Hopefully this will be interesting. Why did someone destroy it? Alright, I was late to the camp. It's fine. It was funny. I checked earlier and it was like, okay. So you need to continue your education. I'm not going to be an engineer. Let me get my... This one. Stacks of crafting supplies. I'm ready. Alright. So, I put this in. So... if anyone has any questions, you guys can... Who's Freddy? So, obviously, once I get to the end of one part, I'll get to the whole thing. If that makes sense. I already found an excellent the scene. So I'll check the questions later, make sure everything's good, and then we're gonna head right into it. Sound good, everyone? And I got some music in the background, so it's not complete silence of my voice. So yeah, we got my siblings. Oh boy. But yeah, that's what I have. And I mean, like, I'll actually answer actual questions. But yeah, it's fine. Even if you just do it in the regular chat, this is just if it comes up while I'm talking. Alright. So, welcome. Those are your colors. Yeah, they kind of are. It wasn't even on purpose. But yeah. So, welcome to Fnaf. Intro to Fnaf. So, we have a thing. So this is gonna be fun. Oh, that's chat. Alright. Anywho. First of all, music good? Not super loud? It's an intro to Fnaf. Yeah. So, to explain simply, see, these are some of the important characters. And I'm just streaming over here for the... And the question marks are because we don't know if it's confirmed yet. What do you mean, spoilers? What did you think this was going to be? Will I need to get my calculator? I don't think so. But yeah, so this is the relationship chart. Oh boy. Okay, so I'm going to explain the relationship chart, okay? This is, by the way, this is not the first relationship chart. This is just, FNAF's Genesis one. Will there be a test? No. This is just for everyone to have a visual of some of the relationships that exist in the beginning of FNAF. Okay. So, this is a relationship chart, alright? And not everything is technically confirmed, except for a few things, which I will explain. Okay? So, we have the main villain of the entire series, William Afton. He is Purple Guy, the Bunny Man, FNAF Into the Pit, that yellow bunny, that's him. That's William Afton. Or assumingly that's William Afton in that one. Name poor kid, the current child named one. Purple Guy. Yes, that's Purple Guy. And Henry is his business partner. Henry was the one who made will his topic be on the test. That depends on... I'm not going to be doing a test. This is just a genuine thing. Anyway, Henry, and yes, the name Emily is some people in the fandom speculate that Emily is the last name, but that has not been confirmed. What about his wife? At least in the game series, the wife has never really been mentioned. Gregory's later. I said, this is beginning Fnaf. Are Henry and William married? Not that we know of, that's never been established. But anyway, to explain, William Afton. He is, most people thought he was the business side of things, which I think that is the case. Henry is the one who made the original animatronics. So, like, where is it? So, like, Freddy here. He's the one who made Freddy, Chica, Bonnie, Foxy, Golden Freddy, things like that. He's the one who made those animatronics. But who is William, though? Where did it come from? William? William is purple guy. William Afton is this businessman, but he is also apparently makes animatronics of his own, which we'll see later. So, to go with William and his family, there's two kids that we know for a fact that are canon to be related to one or the other. So, William Afton has a daughter named Elizabeth. Elizabeth will come into play later. I'll explain why is Freddy so smart. Yeah. But yeah, Elizabeth will come into play later. But we know for a fact that Elizabeth is William's daughter. And then Charlotte, but we don't know if Charlotte is actually the name of the daughter of Henry's daughter, but that was her name in the book, so we're gonna go with Charlotte. Or Charlie, if you want to use her other name. Then you have ones that are more speculatory, but have a lot of evidence for. It's probably messed up. I wonder what makes you say that. We'll get into that. You have to... Naturally, you're going too far into the timeline before we get into things. A trans character? I don't think... Well, Charlie... Oh my gosh, you're gonna make me try to explain Charlie. Oh my goodness. I don't think Charlie's trans, but her name is Charlotte and she goes by Charlie. So yeah. Anyway, William has Elizabeth, but the next two children, Michael, who is a big player if you believe in the first half of the series being Michael's story, so yeah. And then the crying child, and you'll be like, that's not a name. Where's Mike fit into this? We'll get into Mike. Mike is, like I said, Mike is very important. So you have the best of my ability since you already know something. Oh my goodness. So yeah, the crying child, we do not have an actual name. So technically you can call him CC. Some people speculate his name is Ivan, but that's not actually been confirmed. So if you see Ivan roving around in the FNAF community, it's because that is what some people speculate the name is. It's never been confirmed, that's the thing. By the end, oh my gosh. Yeah, CC, crying child, stuff like that. Anyway. So, then you have the missing children. These are the 5 children's names that we know for a fact. Well, Cassidy is technically up in the air, but it's pretty much confirmed at this point. So, Gabriel is Freddy, Susie is Chica, Jeremy is Bonnie, Fritz is Foxy, and Cassidy is Golden Freddy that we know of. And the question mark is on there because there is a theory that Golden Freddy has 2 souls inside of the animatronic. How that is related to things? Yeah. Is the character related to... No. Not at all. Well, you get to see the crying child right now. Alright? We're heading into kind of a timeline-ish. So we got Fredbears. Yes. If you're talking about the ones down here, yes. If you would like to know, technically everyone in this area here is gone. Everyone here is gone. And Afton. Technically. We have a bit of... But did no one suspect the bad smell coming from the animatronics? We don't know. That's the thing that's weird. I don't know. It's a good question. There was a thing of odor. There was people complaining about the smell of odor, but I think because Fazbear is very much on the cheap side, they're not gonna really do much of a check of things. Yeah, technically everyone on this list does not exist currently anymore. Anyway, so you have Fredbears, and you'd be like, who is Fredbear? If you look here, it's the original Golden Freddy. So, the first ever timeline of a establishment, of these animatronics is Fredbear's Family Diner. Being cheap of me. Yeah. So yeah, Fredbear's Family Diner. So, Golden Freddy was technically Fredbear. So, there was only 2 animatronics at this location because it was a small location. And they had Spring Bonnie, who you know was William Afton, as you do, and Fredbear. Now, Crying Child is having his birthday party at Fredbear's Family Diner. And you think, huh, why is this kid crying? Well, Bonnie, I got Fredbear, but not the rabbit. I don't know why he was named. I think because Spring... Okay, why he's called Spring Bonnie is I'm pretty sure most names of animatronics were established by the community. So, since Spring Bonnie is the previous incarnation of Springtrap, as in the previous identity. So Spring from Springtrap, so then, but it's a yellow version of Bonnie, if that makes sense. So Spring Bonnie type thing. That makes sense? So it's Springtrap, but in a nicer, actually safe animatronic. The animatronics, Spring Bonnie and Fredbear, are ones who can be used as regular animatronics. You put animatronics on the suit, or you take out the endoskeleton and you move back the spring locks, and someone can wear it around in a suit and go around going, "Hello, everybody! Look at animatronic." His friends who threw them into the birthday frame or anything like that. We don't know anything about that. There's nothing that's really been established that that the brother had any consequences against him. But if you believe the theories that a lot of people have, then you would assume technically yes. The alignment. Yes, he used. So we'll get into that. Because it's a little bit later. But yeah. Alright. So. Why is Crying Child scared? He's scared to go to the location. He's crying all the time. He doesn't want to be anywhere near Fredbear's Family Diner. Why is these things called sound illusion discs, which are these things, which are tiny discs that beep. It's not silent, but almost considered silent to the human ear. And they pretty much send signals out to the human brain to manipulate the brain into seeing something that's not there. So, for example, I'll get into this in a sec. But yeah, it changes how you see things. So an animatronic that is like really smooth because it's metal will look like hairy, like a real animal. By the way, this is Nightmare Fredbear. Yeah, illusions. So a big example is, this is what Nightmare Fredbear actually looks like. What you mentioned in the pit, yes? Yes. This is not a black bear. This is a clear bear. If you can see all the different little intricacies on him. He's called Nightmare from Fnaf 4, but he is actually Nightmare Fredbear. They're exactly the same. He has a clear glass. It's for the bit. Ha ha ha, so funny. Is that it takes this smooth outer encasing shell and the sound emits, which turns this animatronic to look like this. And you think, why in the world would you want to do that? Well, that's a little bit of a later thing. But yeah, so Crying Child is tested with these illusion discs by William Afton. We saw that. Yeah. Imagine seeing those in your bedroom at night for a week. I'd say hi. Oh boy. But yes, this is why Crying Child is scared of the animatronics. Because if this is what you see for a week, after week, day after day after day for a week, you're not going to want to be around anything that looks similar to these things. So, we have the bite of 83. And oh boy, of the Derek Homie, yeah. So you have the bite of 83. So what happens is, during the birthday party, Crying Child, has been scared, running away from these animatronics, doesn't like it. Well, his older brother, Michael, who's in the Foxy mask, has been scaring him all week by wearing a Foxy mask, jumping out at him. Well, maybe they work out, we don't know. But he's been jumping out of random places, scaring his younger brother, making him cry. And this time, they decide to do a terrible, terrible prank. And this prank... Breathe. Yes, I have water, don't worry. And that terrible prank is to put Crying Child next to the animatronic to, as he says, oh, give Fredbear a kiss. And what happens is, his frontal lobe gets bit. Because the animatronic's teeth chop onto the guy's head. And he passes away. Of course, the more happier music shows up now. Thank you. Alright. So, at some point later in time, I'm assuming years later, it could be a year, there's a Freddy Fazbear location. After the bite of 83, Freddy Fazbear's Diner is closed. The puppet, is that a gesture hat? I'll explain. But yeah. After this happens, there is a... It's not the bite of 87 yet. No, we don't even know the confirmed bite of 87. That's later. But yeah, like I said, a few years go by, and you have the Freddy Fazbear location. So they take the suits from the original location, from Fazbear's. From Fredbear's Family Diner, and they take it over to Freddy Fazbear's, which is different than Fredbear. And they take the suits and they put them in the back, you know, because you don't want to have that people recognize, oh, that branding. Oh, hey, wasn't that animatronic that bit a frontal lobe of a child? No, they make new characters. And Freddy Fazbear becomes the face. Yep. So, this place is also a little bit small. Because, you know, as you do, when you're trying to do something new, you're trying to go from something very small to then go up. So, Charlotte, or Charlie, whichever name you want to use, which I don't know how it got over people's heads. Yeah, I don't know. So Charlotte Emily, Henry's daughter, holy Fnaf, hello, I don't know if it was her birthday party, if it was someone else's birthday party. Point is, she's at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. And she is hanging out with these kids that are being mean. So, if you look in this picture, these kids have wristbands that have colors. It was someone else's? That's fine. I was never sure whose birthday it was. Anyway, the kids are being a little mean. And they decide to lock Charlie outside in the pouring rain. The kids do. And the wristband is important because this is Puppet, but it's the first rendition of the puppet, which is the security puppet. And you'd be like, what's a security puppet? Well, this puppet is connected to a wristband for a specific child. So if the child tries to go near the door of the pizzeria, the security puppet will pop out of the present box, find the child, and put the child back safely away from the door of the pizzeria. But yeah, kids can be very evil. But yeah, Henry made it for his daughter. And you think, okay, how did she get outside then? Well, those kids put a present on top of the box that the puppet comes out of. So, the puppet is sensing, oh, Charlie is outside. But he can't move up because the box is on top of it. It eventually removes the box and goes outside. But before it can escape, a car drives out near the pizzeria. And while everybody's turned around, Charlotte is killed by William Afton. This is his first kill. So, he kills Charlie, and he drives away. And the puppet escapes from their box, and they go to the alleyway, because they're trying to retrieve the child. Well, because it's raining outside, the puppet is breaking down. It's slowly disintegrating. Then how did the puppet move on its own? From my understanding, like I said, it's a security puppet that goes to find the child and brings the child back in. But the puppet keeps moving forward in its programming to go where Charlie is. When it reaches Charlie, it is completely broken down. And Charlie's soul fuses with the puppet. So this is the first kill/possession. Fuses with the other child. Yes, yes. She becomes the puppet. Miss? What miss? What do you mean miss? Oh boy. to be here about. Wow. So yeah, she was the first. Alright. Now, we have the missing children's incident. And if you remember... Sorry, getting messed up for me. Yeah. So, the 5 children, technically 6, maybe even 7. Yes, it's question mark. So you have Gabriel, Fritz, Jeremy, Chica, and Cassidy, and maybe another child. Why I say another is because, once again, some people theorize that Golden Freddy has 2 people inside. The 7th child would be the crying child, is people's theory. So yes, the missing children incident happens. These children go missing during a birthday party. No one can find them. They don't know where they are. They can't find anything. Yeah, in a confusing way. It's already confusing since the beginning. And the kids were never found. So the place was locked down. Is there an incident that William continued with his crimes after his first murder, or did he stop so as to not raise much suspicion? Oh, he continued with his crimes after his first murder. The missing children's incident is when William decided to be more bold. So to explain that in a way that makes sense, this was the first time that Afton used the Spring Bonnie costume to commit murder. He would be around in the suit, so he looked not suspicious. Because, you know, it's a location, and oh, it's a friendly character. And when you are dealing with children, children are easily beguiled by, oh, this is a character, I remember you, you're Bonnie. You're a little different color than I remember, but you're Bonnie. And there's so many. I don't know how many. Because I had social anxiety. Yeah, that could happen. So, what happens is he goes onto the floor where there's kids. He finds a kid that is by themselves. And he talks to them. And he's like, oh, I have a cool surprise for you in the back. Want to go see it? And they follow him. Because they believe Bonnie, you know, how could Bonnie be a danger to me? And they go to the back room. And they don't come back out. Specifically with Susie / Chica, she was told that her dog was okay because her dog died. I don't know how William Afton knew about this. He did give them a treat. Something like that. And yeah. He told her, oh, your dog's okay. He's just in the back. And Susie was the first of the missing children incidents. So she, as she says in Ultimate Customite, once we get to it, she saw everything. She saw him commit all of these crimes because she was the first to be killed. And she becomes Chica. We don't really know the other order, but that's what we know for a fact. Now, we get into Circus Baby's Pizza World, which is happening around the same time. Because, obviously, with the missing children's incident happening, the first missing children's incident, people are very anxious and don't want to go to a Freddy Fazbear's location. I said Circus Baby. Anyway. So, obviously, if you were a parent, you're very uncomfortable and don't want to have your children in an unsafe environment like this and have them disappear on you. Or CB. Oh, okay. I have no idea. So around the same time of the missing children's incidents, there is another Freddy's location, which is the second one. Well, the second game, Freddy Fazbear's, where there's toy animatronics and different things like that. That one has its own incident, which is, we're pretty positive that Afton caused the bite of 87. We don't know if it was a child. We don't know if it was Afton related. We do not know if it was a security guard. Some people speculate that 87 was a security guard. Yes, it's very confusing for me saying this, but you know. Yes, was it the bite of 87? Some people speculate on who it is. We never really have seen the bite of 87 ever happen. So how does this relate to what's on screen? Well, around the same time as the Freddy Fazbear locations, a new establishment pops up called Circus Baby's Pizza World. My head, my brain is frying. Yeah, isn't it very annoying? Yes, and you have to remember, I've retained this information for over 10 years, because FNAF is 10 years old. So yeah, Circus Baby's Pizza World was made by William Afton, because he was committing all these murders, and all of these restaurants were getting closed down, or very limited, and different things for that. And someone saw that the kids with a spring Bonnie costume, so they saw a yellow suit. So him trying to commit murder is not going to happen very easily now that his suit has been discovered. So, after the closing of Freddy's, Afton makes Circus Baby's Pizza World. These animatronics, and there's 4 of them, are very advanced for their time. They're very mechanical, smooth, and very advanced programming. And they're really, really, really big. Like, Circus Baby over here is like 5'6". She's really big. So these are very big animatronics. So they have to have a big establishment. And opening day happens. Everything's been ready. Afton's got everything ready to go. Well, there was a birthday party. And Circus Baby's Pizza World closes. And it only was open for 1 day. Now, how did it close? Chunky. She be kind of chunky. I'm in one word, dispossession. Kind of, but also not completely. So, how did Circus Baby's Pizza World get closed after 1 day? William Afton made his animatronics, and he showed Circus Baby to his daughter, up here, that's Elizabeth. Meet Elizabeth Afton, everyone. She's kind of an important character. And she loves Circus Baby's design. She loves everything about her. So she wants to play with her. But she is told by her dad, do not go near her. Do not go near her. Weird robot. And then the next day, the birthday party happens. And Elizabeth is hanging out with all the other kids. And at one point, kids are going in and out of Circus Baby's room. Elizabeth ends up in Circus Baby's room alone. And she looks around. Did you crop that or? No. I used it as a GIF. All the bad things happen on birthdays. Yeah. I don't know, because it's Five Nights at Freddy's. So she gets really close to Circus Baby because she wants to see her. And this thing here scoops out, like, it puts an ice cream out there. So an ice cream cone pops out. So Elizabeth goes to grab for it. No, the gift on the wiki has it like this, so yeah. I didn't have to do anything. So, she goes to grab the ice cream. And she gets, as we say, scooped. So she gets snatched in to Circus Baby and gets encased inside Circus Baby. Now you're like, how in the world does that happen? So besides the fact that the animatronics are very, very big, they are made with custom design in mind of capturing children. Yes, these animatronics' whole thing was to capture children. And so, with the death of Elizabeth Afton, because of her being scooped, Circus Baby's Pizza World is closed due to a quote-unquote gas leak. You might need, that's why I said scooping is literally, if, let me grab this. I'll make this as easy as possible. So this makes her go like this. And she ends up contained inside. Do anybody have this device inside, or do other animatronics have it? I refer to the hook coming out of her. I think she's the only one having the hook, because she's the one who had an ice cream thing. Oh, by the way, that's really messed up. I'm guessing none of the engineers asked questions either. Well, the engineers didn't make it. William made these himself. I think he based some stuff off of Henry's original blueprints, but he made them himself. So there was no engineers involved to question it. If you're talking about Baby having a device like the scooper, the other animatronics, which I have lower in the PowerPoint, will show them. They have different cavities, so we'll talk about, I'll use an example. So you have Funtime Freddy, who looks like Freddy Fazbear, but is a different, he's a white and pink bear. He does not have a hook. He doesn't have a scoop. But his chest cavity does open, and he is so big that he can use his hands and just throw them inside of his chest cavity to contain them. So yeah. So these animatronics get put underground for a rental service. And you think, how are they going to be rented out? Well, because the cover-up for the quote-unquote gas leak worked, people just believe, oh, it was a gas leak. No one knows that Elizabeth Afton died. So, people would schedule appointments for, like, there's a birthday party at little Timmy's 5th birthday. They will request an animatronic, so like Baby over here. And the animatronics would be sent out to these birthday parties. If they rented animatronics, yeah. Okay, so no one knew these were kidnapping bots. Gotcha. Yeah, so, and at these parties, some people would go missing. Assumingly. And you think, how worse could this possibly get? We got a crazy homicidal maniac that killed kids and now made kidnapping bots. So what is it? Well, Afton noticed after the children died that these animatronics would act weird around adults. And they were moving around at night, and he didn't understand why. In these old locations, they would look very weird. Why were they walking around at night? They weren't supposed to. Kirkianite, was it? Yes. And so, he connected the dots that the spirits of the children that he killed were in the suits, operating them. And so, to find out how these animatronics were being moved around by these ghosts, he would come into the old pizzeria and disassemble them. He'd take them apart. And once he found out what made these animatronics move, he decided to disassemble a bunch of animatronics. So Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Freddy, Golden Freddy were all disassembled and taken. Their parts were used for something. That's something that will be explained later. So, one day... Wait for this essay part. Yeah. So he took the haunted parts and used them for something. Yes. Yes, he did. So, because he disassembled the animatronic shell, the spirits were able to they're still stuck to the pizzeria, but they're able to wander around more freely because they're now ghosts. They are not physical objects. So, the souls one day decide enough is enough. Because they've been trying to get to him for a while, but they could not go into the safe room where they were killed. Yeah, they're not bound by the suits anymore. So the 5, 6 of them confront him. And he is shocked that they're in front of him. He's terrified. Because now he can't just get rid of them anymore. He can't just break them apart because they're not a physical entity. So he does the only thing he thinks he can do, and is hide inside the suit. And things don't go quite the way he thinks. He's laughing at them, thinking, haha, you can't do anything to me now. Well, this pizzeria is condemned. It has leaks everywhere. It's rotting. There's stuff everywhere. And remember, Spring Bonnie has spring locks inside. So when spring locks get wet, can we hear the crunch? I could probably find the crunch, but yeah. So water hits the spring locks, and they snap into place. And blood goes everywhere, and he is slowly falling to the floor, and just sits there, in pain. And he is stuck there. And he does not move. And after a while, which I assume that he stopped moving. So the suit was there in the back room. While these places were sealed up. So Springtrap was sealed behind a wall for 30 years. Food. Well, thanks for the pizza. He's still among the living. He's still among the living at this point. He's still alive. If you can see over here, this is him inside the suit. But yeah, no, he was sealed behind that wall for 30 years. Alright, let me make sure that I get the sound before I continue. So what does he eat? We don't know. We don't really know. That's the thing. He is alive, but not of technically his own volition. He's only alive by the pure endurance of wanting, of ambition. He is someone who does not die just because he got hurt. How? Yeah, how? The point is, take human determination and turn it up to like a frickin' 100. Let me just make sure. Alright, let me make... Is that really on... You're really gonna make me look for this, you mother trucker? Anyway, I mean, her part's fine. 30 years without food? Yikes. Yep. Oh, this is perfect. Okay, this one works. Something kept him alive, or it's a plot hole. Something did keep him alive. Whether he realized it or not, we don't know. Alright. So, here's the death minigame. Okay? So this is the death minigame, and you've gone through this with other animatronics at this point. This is the condemned pizzeria. You can see everything that looks around, right? Oh, I should put on the sound. So there he is, being confronted by them. So this room, the animatronics in their system do not see it. This is a safe room where the animatronics cannot go back here. So that's why, them being free, they were able to catch him. What do you mean? What do you mean? Leaky, old, and dilapidated. Yep. Now, as you can see, he goes inside the suit. Why? What do you mean, why? But he's laughing, and then... Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Ta-da! And that's it. Yeah, he gets a crunched. So yeah. And he's in that state for about 30-ish years. And you just think, heesh, how is he still kept alive all these years? Yeah, it's kind of great. Anybody who wants some fresh rabbit? Play Fnaf, rewritten 87. Maybe at some point. I've never heard of it, but that sounds interesting. Bad. I already did this. Huh. I don't know. I just did it because chat wanted to hear it from me, so you know. Became immortal. Something like that. So, at this point... Do I have it there? Alright. So, the 5 children out of the 6 are freed. Why is life so awful? Because life has got to be interesting. So he is... So he is assumingly killed, and he's suffering the same fate as the children. And the children are at peace, and they leave. Their spirits are not bound by anything anymore. Now, they are gone. So, you think, oh, the story should be over. Everyone wins. The bad guy is dead, and the spirits are free. Well, not everyone is free. So, 30 years later, a horror attraction is open, and it's based off the legends of the murders at Fazbear's Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. And Fredbear's Family Diner. So someone, because as you do when you hear about legends, you want to make people try to make profit off it. So Fazbear Fright is made. And as they're sneaking around in illegal property, by the way, they go to one of the pizzerias and they see that there's a hole in the wall. And you're like, oh, well, it's been 30 years, so obviously there's not been a lot of things being taken care of. It's gonna dilapidate even more. Well, they see a hole in the wall, and they break it open. And inside, they find an animatronic. And that's our buddy Springtrap. Yeah, after Fnaf 4. No, he's not made out of watermelons. That's just the yellow being weathered after 30 years of being inside a building that is not well kept. Well, it's been theorized many things. You can, if you want, but yes, he is Springtrap. So, somebody, the night guard, as they say, goes to Fazbear Fright and sets Fazbear Fright ablaze. It's on fire, and it's allegedly because of an electrical fire. The security guard is there to release the souls of the children that are bound around the different supplies that they've used for this establishment. The same security guard also went to the other locations and and burned them down so that the spirits could be free. The 5 were. Not everyone was. There was more children. You have to remember that William Afton committed murder multiple times. We don't know how many victims he's had. So there was tons of children that were around. These locations were tainted with souls of children that were murdered. The main 5 out of the 6 were freed. So, what happens is that the souls of the children that weren't from the main, so there were a lot of ghosts left. Yes, there was a lot. And little Freddy in the newspaper. Yes, that is Springtrap behind it. Question, the main game with that tiny Springtrap. Yes, I know he had one, but I forgot. Did the crying child have a contact with it, or is it just an Easter egg? I'm pretty positive that crying child had contact with... Oh my gosh. No, it's not Scrap Trap. Plush Trap, thank you. Yes. Wasn't all this retcon? Technically, no. It depends on how you want to go about it. We'll get into that. That's a whole thing on its own. But no, it is not an Easter egg. Plush Trap is a toy that was made by Fazbear Entertainment. Why? We don't know why, but they made Plush Trap dolls. And there's actual Fazbear Fright book that literally has a story about Plush Trap. So, things were going weird. Should it take to mental bird to make a phone call? Well, that depends on the phone call and the context. We were currently in 2023, right? And this, technically, I don't know the dates. Based on if it's from 30 years from when he was put into the suit, I don't know the whole context. That's all I know. As infinite funds, they also made business at this point, Lamau. Yes, they did. But you have to remember, some things, they just get enough money. Apparently, parents can't get enough of Freddy Fazbear. It generally takes me around to consider my territory. Well, then you're just gonna have to think to yourself, do maybe 30 minutes at most to psych yourself up, and then just do it. The sooner you do it, the sooner it's done. So, you're like, who is the security guard going to all these locations and burning them down to free the souls? It's Michael. And you'd be like, who's Michael again? The boy in the foxy mask who started this whole mess. Yes, the one who caused all of this death and tragedy by having his little brother die to an animatronic is now trying to make up for his sins. And so, Michael goes to Fazbear Fright to ask, where's his sister? Since all these souls are here and he has not encountered his little sister. Where is she? And as the place is burning down, he gets told where she is. Where Elizabeth is. Because Elizabeth is not with everyone else. No, his sister is not the puppet. It's Elizabeth Afton. So Elizabeth has possessed Circus Baby. The one who, made her not exist. And above me, this is the location, sister location, yeah, uh-huh. Natural, no. So this above me is the blueprints of the Circus Baby's entertainment and rentals. I've explained what that was, So you're like, okay, what does this mean? I'm not gonna do Ultimate Customine. Nope, no thank you. No thank you. No thank you. Sorry. Anyway. Yeah, that's fine. Anyway. We saw that. Ha ha ha. Yeah. Anyway. Back to what we were doing. So, Michael goes to his childhood home and finds that there is a hidden doorway. Yes. So there is a hidden door inside of his father's office. And he opens it. And it opens to an elevator. And he takes that elevator down. And it takes him to Circus Baby's entertainment and rentals. So the animatronics that killed Michael's sister have been stationed under his house, under his childhood house this entire time. Inside this entertainment and rentals, there is a security room. And on the security room, there is cameras of the house. Barely running, but there's cameras of the house. And one of them is his little brother's room. And Michael realizes that his brother had been watched this entire time. From him going crazy from these animatronics. And so, he ends up meeting his sister again. But she has now possessed the circus baby animatronic. So he discovered why he cried a lot. Yes, he discovered how horrible it was that how even worse he feels that besides teasing causing the death of his brother, he teased him about something and realized how much more horrible his dad was. So, obviously this animatronic above me, I'll explain them in a minute. They're kind of an important thing. So, you remember how Elizabeth Afton was scooped by Baby? Science. The finest baby crazy. Well, that's what happens. I wish you luck, Matthew. Good luck, good luck. I wish you the best luck. You know a lot of stuff, so yeah. Yeah, scooping really bad. So, Michael is doing the tasks around the quote-unquote sister location. Trying to find out where his sister is. Listening to her, doing what she tells him to do. So, he listens to his sister and sends all the animatronics to be disassembled. No, I cannot take your finals for you, and I'd probably do bad on your finals. And they go to the scooping room. The scooping room is where animatronics endoskeletons are violently, and I mean violently, ripped out of their suits. Where they pretty much become metal spaghetti. Please. What do you mean? I'm pretty sure you'll do great. Alright. Alright. So. Oh, by the way, I should mention this. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention this. So I'll name all these animatronics for you. I forgot to mention this. I'm so sorry. You know Circus Baby. Welcome back. Knew how to design. Yeah, that's reasonable. So this is Circus Baby. This is Funtime Foxy. This is Funtime Freddy. This is Bon Bon. And this is Ballora. Naturally, I will delete Ballora from this PowerPoint if you're gonna be like this, golly. Anyway. So yes, these are the animatronics. Just to put in preface, when I talk about fun times, these guys are called the Funtime animatronics. So meanwhile, manufacturing the murder bots, William Afton is Purple Guy. Purple Guy is making these himself because their stuff is marked Afton Robotics. What he was doing though. Golly. One person could not make that. Well, he didn't make everything himself. There's things made into this. I'll get to the point that I'm trying to make in a sec. Technically, he didn't make them, but also did. If that makes sense. Yes, he used Henry, his old business associate's blueprints for reference. What, is this a restaurant made for little kids? Yes, it is. Yes, they become... I'm getting to Ennard in a sec. So yeah, they are made from two things. One, new materials that Afton bought and made to assemble these things. The second thing is from old animatronics from Freddy Fazbear franchise. No, I do not know how to do that. Matthew, I do not. So it's not, but we will ignore it right now, right? So yes, the second thing is the old animatronics were used in the process of making some of these animatronics. Some of their pieces were made to make metal for these animatronics. So, Michael listens to his sister and sends all the fun time animatronics to the scooping room. They're endoskeletons, so Ghostie's in the suits again. Something like that. And their endoskeletons get ripped out of their body. And Michael follows what Baby says, and Circus Baby says, and goes to this room. He ends up in the scooping room. And I can make this bigger for everyone so you can see what the scooping room looks like. So look how big they are, by the way. Look at this. Isn't that crazy? And he sees this, but he doesn't see any of the endoskeletons. Outside the windows, Ennard is standing. And in Baby's voice, tells him he was tricked. So they tell him that they've been stuck in this place and they want to leave. So he gets led to the scooping room and gets scooped. And then Ennard takes over Michael's body. And they leave Circus Baby's entertainment and rentals. An endoskeleton uses a human's body. They crawl inside a human's body and uses it as a suit to go outside. So above me, this is our only picture of what Michael looks like. How do they gain sentience again? I will get into that. So how they gain sentience? So first of all, Circus Baby has Elizabeth Afton. The other animatronics have remnant inside of them that has been left behind by the spirits. I'll explain remnant later. That's in here. But they have stuff left behind that makes them aggressive. Yeah. So, Michael's body wanders around outside. And day after day, he becomes literally purple. Makes sense, yeah. Oh, that bravo. Yeah. He's dead but not dead. But yes, over time, his skin literally rots away and turns purple. And everyone is avoiding him. Because, this guy is literally purple. So because everyone is avoiding Ennard/Michael, Ennard makes the body puke out the pieces of Ennard out of the body. And those pieces go down into the drain. One of the road drains. Probably stinks like heck. Yep. That's why odor on the paychecks was a big thing. Because he looks like this. And they go to storm drain. Yeah, that works too. So, you would assume, oh, Michael's dead. He was used as a skin suit and he's dead. But he comes back to life. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, what a great time to peer in for Undead Michael. What great timing. They walking in synchronized order. Because it's the animation, it's the GIF. How did I do that? So Michael is Jesus. No. he is similarly kept alive like his father. You know how his father did not die? He is similarly kept alive by something. I'm running out of battery. Well, hopefully you charge it. Thanks for stopping by if you have to leave. And he looks around and sees a flyer for a new project of Freddy Fazbear. A whole thing that he thought was pretty much dead at this point. Now, what happens... Now, this is an important piece before I get into the next location. Can you make the and stop? What? How do I make it? Yeah, have a good life too. How do I do the what? How is this doing? Wow, I'm almost through that. Okay, so does Michael become a human again or just gross reanimated husk? He's a reanimated husk, but he can still talk. I guess you really just need to think things through and relax. Golly. Alright. So, before we move on to the next location where Michael is going, something happens. So, remember how Ennard is made up of 4 animatronics, the Fun Times? Well, at some point, the Ennard's insides argue with each other. And Ballora, Funtime Freddy, and Funtime Foxy eject Funtime Baby's parts out of their body. And so, Ennard splits into 2. So you have Ennard 2.0, which is named Molten Freddy. And Baby becomes Scrap Baby, because she's only made of parts, and she grabs stuff what you could find in the dumpster to build herself a body. That makes sense? So 3 Fun Times are in Molten Freddy, which is above me, and Baby has become Scrap Baby, made from parts that she has found in the dumpster in the junkyard. Now the one above me, this is Henry. This is Henry, maybe last name Emily. This is the guy who made the original animatronics. And you'd be like, wow, he hasn't been brought up in a hot second since the beginning of this PowerPoint. Doesn't make sense, but your explanation is clear. So you're like, who is he again? He's William Afton's business partner, ex-business partner. The father of Charlotte/Charlie, who is now the puppet. Elizabeth, who is now Circus Baby, the crying child, who we speculate is one of 2 spirits inside Golden Freddy, but was released and safe. Solve world hunger. That is a big task to ask of me. No, I know why he has been brought up. Continue. And then Michael, the literal purple guy. And then you have William Afton, Springtrap. You guys are asking a lot of me. And yes, when I say 4 out of the 6, I'm talking about, so, the crying child, Gabriel, Susie, Jeremy, and Fritz during the fire at Fazbear Fright were free. But Cassidy has not been freed. This is important information. He's probably very old at this point. Yes, yes, he is. This is just what we know what he looks like. This is the only picture we really have of him. Can you fix car dependent? I don't even know what... That means building a lot of things. And intelligent life forms. Well, that depends. We're intelligent on some things, but not everything. Golly, we're living beings. We ain't perfect. So, he sees... So back to Michael. He sees a poster for... Do you remember Freddy Fazbear's? Well, now you can make your own location and make new memories for the next generation. And so, he calls and gets the supplies. Michael has delivered money and supplies. Gregor, we're almost there. We're technically... Are we halfway? Yes, we are technically halfway through this PowerPoint. Red yarn board red? Kind of. It's similar to that. Rocky curves. I'm still gonna have an... I thought you've been having an existential crisis. Yeah, we're halfway. I've been keeping count. Yes, we're halfway. So, Michael gets funds and buys... Yes, it's 43 slides, I'm pretty sure, is what I said. Yeah. So, Michael's delivered a bunch of supplies. And he sets up a pizzeria. Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. Business is going well, but there's another thing that came with the supplies, which are tapes. And he is told with a note to listen to these tapes in order every shift. These tapes tell him to collect animatronics that appear outside of the building and bring them inside of the pizzeria. Hello, Eldridge. No, this is not the first Freddy Fazbear's. This is a location made... It's like, build your own pizzeria type thing. So you're using the Fazbear name, but it has nothing technically to do with the current Fazbear Corporation. It's an image we can get for him, even Mad Pat uses it. Yes, it really is the only image we have of him. It is the only image we have of Henry. That's it. This is all we have. Because I think it was made in one of the books. This is all we have. Okay, sorry, I'm a bit confused. Okay. How do I want to go about this? When is this? After Michael gets scooped. So this is after all of the other establishments are closed. There's no Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. There's no Fazbear's Family Diner. There's no Circus Baby's Pizza World. There's no entertainment and rentals anymore. This is a set up Freddy Fazbear Entertainment kit. And you make a location. And you're like, what? And if you're still confused, it'll make sense in a sec. For you, page poll. Hello. Field Bridge. So he did businesses, lost his business, 30 years went by, and then he receives the kit. Yes. 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 This kit is made. The Count would do something about it. Yeah. So, to explain simply, and I'm going to explain, is you think, why would Freddy Fazbear's be popping up 30 plus years later, after it's been closed? And only is seen, like, in these old rundown places. Well, this pop-up pizzeria is a trap. Made by Henry. Henry made this whole plan as a trap for the animatronics. And Afton. It is a trap. It is not. It is a real pizzeria, but it is a guise for what is a trap to capture all of the animatronics. This is any of the ones that have not been released. That would be Charlie, who is inside the puppet, Circus Baby, William Afton, and Cassidy. So, he is trying to collect the stragglers that are left, because he's been hearing about these burning down pizzerias, so he wants to free his daughter. So, on the 7th day of the pizzeria being open, Henry reveals himself to be the tape man. He says that his name, he explains himself. Being delivered and stored there, then? No. The animatronics hear about this, that Freddy Fazbear's Pizza is back! And they flock to the location. Baby flocks to the location because she might be able to find her father there and make him proud. Afton is going there because he wants to commit murder again. Charlie is there because she's trying to prevent Afton from causing another missing children's incident. Cassidy is going there because she wants revenge. Or they want revenge. We don't really know if Cassidy's a girl or boy. So I'll just call Cassidy they for now. So yes, they're being led there. They're being drawn in by this pizzeria. That's why it's a trap. Now, you're probably asking, what the heck is this thing over in the left corner? This thing is literally called Egg Baby. It was made by Henry that stores all the files about the trap. It has the blueprints, the plans, everything to explain the plan of making a trap for the animatronics. Okay? So, Henry, revealing himself to be very connected to this horrible circumstances of children dying, is here to put an end to the suffering. He wants to free everyone. He wants to get the last ones that are left and free them. So, Henry explains that he has made this place a trap to burn the animatronics inside. Yeah, to free every ghost. He's here to burn down the metal of the animatronics to free them, get them out. Yes. Yes, Lefty. How do I explain Lefty? So the puppet was purposely captured by Lefty, which, by the way, Charlie is the puppet. And Lefty catches the puppet. So in Pizza Simulator, you see Lefty, that's the puppet. But yes, that is how that works. Anyway, so Henry explains this is a box made to trap everyone and to trap all the animatronics inside and burn them to let the souls be free. First place, you do wonder that, but who knows? Henry explains that there is a way out. They made a way out for the person who found the flyer to be able to leave. But says in the tape that you seem to be where you want to be. So I won't force you to leave. Just like something Eggman would have created. Yes, it really does. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So Michael wants to stay there. An extract of my research is correct? Yes, it is. That is Egg Baby. So, Michael does not take a way out. He has repented for all of his sins. He wants to stay here to make sure that his father and all the animatronics burn. I said good morning, good morning. And Henry speaks to his daughter, who is the puppet that is stuck inside of Lefty. And this is a quote by Henry to Afton. Because he tells the souls to free themselves. Let bygones be bygones. Be free. Don't let this tie you down. And he says, although, for one of you, the darkest pit of heck has opened to swallow you whole. So don't keep the devil waiting, old friend. Now, would you guys like to hear Henry say this? Because I can get Henry's voice file, because I do have it. If you guys would like to hear Henry. Yes. I would love to. Yeah, I have Henry's voice on here. I'm pretty sure I do. It's that one. Now I just gotta find it. Where did it go? I did this in the span of 2 to 3 days. I researched all this in the span of 2 to 3 days. Where did you... Oh, do I have it in trash? Let me make sure of something. Are you in here, Henry? Or did I delete you? Yep, there he is. Restore. Apply. Unless it... Fear and hunger. Well, you see why it's interesting. Anyway, let me grab... So I have the file. No, just gotta find it again. It's in here. Alright, I'm just gonna do... this. What does that even mean? That's this. Now I gotta find it. Gosh dang it. Where did you go, Henry? Henry. And hockey sticks. Oh, there it is. Alright. Hang on. Let me do one thing. Sorry. I paused the music so you can hear. Are you guys ready? You get to hear Henry.
Connection terminated. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Elizabeth, if you still even remember that name. But I'm afraid you've been misinformed. You are not here to receive a gift, nor have you been called here by the individual you assume, although you have indeed been called. You have all been called here, into a labyrinth of sounds and smells, misdirection, and misfortune. A labyrinth with no exit, a maze with no prize. You don't even realize that you are trapped. Your lust for blood has driven you in endless circles, chasing the cries of children in some unseen chamber, always seeming so near, yet somehow out of reach. But you will never find them. None of you will. This is where your story ends. And to you, my brave volunteer, who somehow found this job listing not intended for you. Although there was a way out planned for you, I have a feeling that's not what you want. I have a feeling that you are right where you want to be. I am remaining as well. I am nearby. This place will not be remembered, and the memory of everything that started this can finally begin to fade away, as the agony of every tragedy should. And to you monsters trapped in the corridors, be still, and give up your spirits. They don't belong to you. For most of you, I believe there is peace, and perhaps more, waiting for you after the smoke clears. Although for one of you, the darkest pit of hell has opened to swallow you whole. So don't keep the devil waiting, friend. My daughter, if you can hear me, I knew you would return as well. It's in your nature to protect the innocent. I'm sorry that on that day, the day you were shut out and left to die, no one was there to lift you up into their arms, the way you lifted others into yours. And then, what became of you? I should have known you wouldn't be content to disappear. Not my daughter. I couldn't save you then, so let me save you now. It's time to rest, for you, and for those you have carried in your arms. This ends, for all of us, in communication.
And there you go. That's Henry. So, context. The puppet. This is why I think Cassidy is a girl. Well, if you mean protect the innocent, here's the thing. Charlie was the one who guided the other children. She was the one who guided them towards the suits to be able to move around and be free. Well, my girl, I thought he was talking about Charlie. At least that's our assumption. He's not talking about baby, my bad. Yeah, no, he talked to Elizabeth at the beginning. Because Elizabeth was under a thought that she was here to receive a gift from her father. How she thought that, I don't know. But yeah. So yeah. Pretty wild, right? That was the only time... This was the only time we got to hear Henry's voice. So, back to this. Yep. So, Michael finally dies in the fire and is at peace. Doesn't really the girl's name of the boys. It's actually very, like, Overwatch has Cassidy, who is a cowboy. Cassidy could be either. You have no idea. We have no idea. So, you think everything is finally over. All of the locations have burned down, the souls have been freed. Everyone should be good, right? 2007. You can, I just don't like saying it. No, I don't play Overwatch. Yeah, Cassidy is a gender neutral name. So, yes, Springtrap survives somehow. And you ask, how in the world does he do that? Simple. Afton is not dead. After 2 fires, this man is still alive. Still alive. And you're like, how? How is he still alive? Again. One of the souls, the crying child, was put at peace. But the other soul in Golden Freddy would not let him go. Would not let him die. Would not let him rest. Would not let him be at peace. Cassidy. Yes, he always comes back. Cassidy holds him there. in a purgatory of Cassidy's making for William Afton to die over and over and over and over again. Never-ending death to the animatronics that he laughed at, that he mocked for being children that he manipulated. Cassidy reminds him of his transgressions, and Cassidy is angry. They're an angry spirit that does not want to let go. They have felt so much rage and anger that they can't move on. And they hold Afton's soul stuck in his body to forever perpetuate in a creation of his own making. But yes, Afton cannot die until Cassidy lets go. And you think, so how does that work? So Afton is confined to his body. He is in a coma. He's in a hospital. And how we know this, it's a book. One of the Fnaf books explains this. Is that Afton is confined to a bed. He is unconscious. He's on life support. And even if they take away the life support, he does not die. Cassidy is keeping him there, so his body will not die. He will, even if his body leaves and is just skin and bones, he cannot die. He is covered in burns from the fire. But he cannot die, because Cassidy will not let him go. So yes, it's the perfect revenge. Is for Cassidy to forever torture William Afton. And that's the end of the original Five Nights at Freddy's story. Ta-da! And the burn masses now struck forever in torture and limbo. Yep. So, I'm gonna go through some of the questions. Obviously, we still have more. We're gonna have part 2, where we go into the modern era of FNAF, the current era that we're in. I'm gonna go look at the questions, see if there's anything that I need to answer before we move on to part 2. So, for Dylan, does Freddy still poop? No, he's an animatronic and a ghost, so no. Who's Freddy? This is Freddy. This is Freddy Fazbear. What is Afton? A homicidal maniac. And now a forever tortured thing. Waiting on FNAF animation. Oh boy. Fanimation. I salute you for the sacrifice to your mental state. Well, thank you. It's not kind of funny. I've been keeping this information in my brain since the beginning. It's kind of funny. So might as well be able to use it. But yes, Afton is a homicidal maniac who is now forever tortured by his own sins. So, putting the question here too, are there variants of animatronics the same kids like Punk Rock or Toy? So, the toy animatronics, from our understanding, and this is from our understanding, Remnant is, don't worry, Remnant is at the bottom. It's in the second part. I have Remnant in the second part of the parent point. So I'll explain Remnant because it becomes a bigger deal later. Just to say, elaborate on Remnant will come later. Probably fell multiple times. Fell inside multiple plot holes. Ha, so funny. Anyway, next question. So yeah, the toys, from our understanding, and this is, there's 2 possibilities for the toy animatronics. in the different incarnations? Well, first of all, let me explain simply. Okay, the original 6, excuse me, I misspoke. Have you seen an undeniable canon Five Nights at Freddy's timeline? No, because there's nothing that can technically be confirmed. Only some things are confirmed. So I don't think there's technically a undeniable canon. All we know is that Fredbear's Family Diner is at the beginning of the timeline. The biggest contention is where Sister Location takes place in the timeline. Sorry, I'm looking between live chat and I'm switching between these. Anyway. So, to explain. Simply, okay? So you have Freddy, Chica, Bonnie, Foxy, Golden Freddy, Spring Bonnie. You have the basic ones, okay? And for people who don't know, there are toy versions of these animatronics. You have Toy Freddy, you have Toy Chica, you have Toy Bonnie, you have Toy Foxy, which is Funtime Foxy, but is not the same Funtime Foxy that I showed you earlier. Oh no. Hello. Hello. Anyway. Yes, I don't know why people love Toy Chica a lot. Anyway. As I was saying, because now I'm going to be distracted. The toy animatronics, to our knowledge, are not possessed by the same souls of the original 6 kids. If there was parts used from the original animatronics in them, in the toys, then yes, they would technically have part of the souls from the children. But they are security. The toy animatronics were built in with security protocol in mind. So they're like a more advanced security puppet. So, I'm sorry this is not the answer you probably want, Dylan, but that's the best way I can explain it. So there's 2 possibilities, like I said. One, that they are just animatronics that are using the security system, and because Michael looks like his father, the toy animatronics go after him. Or 2, they have their parts were taken from the original animatronics, so that means that the spirit was cut into that animatronic. Or both exist. Look, took the toys for being puppets for the original spirits, and they just had control of them because they recycled the parts from the Wizards. I think so. I think it's a combination of both. Yes, they contain traces of the kids. How about I just skip to Natural, don't even. Dylan was just watching. I'll just go to Remnant real quick. Because I do have the slide. I thought I put it further up. I guess I didn't. Okay, let me explain Remnant. I thought I put it higher. Okay? But I'll explain Remnant so that you guys can understand. Okay, sound good? Call me M. Okay. Alright. Okay. So, Remnant, the thing above me, this is the physical looking of it. So you have the children's soul, okay? Which is a regular human soul. When a soul is... So you know how ghosts are connected to... They're bound to an area? because there's very negative feelings towards it. Because that's where they died, so there's a big connection of they don't feel fulfilled, so they can't leave. That was the case for all of the children that died from William Afton's hand. Now, those children, chained by their grief. Those children were freed. They're free. Those animatronics were broken apart by Afton and put in these different animatronics. Being burned, their souls were free. But these animatronics don't have a soul in them. They have remnant in them. These remnant is leftover emotions. So when you're angry, you know how when you're angry, you don't just not be angry anymore? It's a dimmering thing. So that boiling anger is left inside the metal of the animatronics. Okay, guys, let's focus on the PowerPoint, okay? The two siblings can have an argument at a later date. On their own time. Okay? Sound good? So, the simplest explanation is that this is leftover emotions from the children. These emotions is their rage. And this is a substance that Afton was after. That's why he was breaking up all the animatronics. They're called, in English, but in French, these entities are called hombres, traces of people going through a horrible time. I'm familiar with the concept. Okay. So yes, their remnants, as they call it, is left over. So Afton wanted to figure out what was making these animatronics move. So when he discombobulated everything from the animatronics, he was able to draw out remnant into a physical thing. I haven't heard Fnaf in a while. Yeesh. What an entrance. Yeah. So, what happens is, somehow he's able to turn into a physical substance that he can put in like a syringe. And he can inject them into objects. So injecting remnant, negative emotions, okay, I'll get to why he needs it in a sec. Okay, Natural, I will time you out. Alright. So why does he need this? I'll explain in a sec. So, it's turned into a liquid substance that can be injected into anything. So if it injected it into like a water bottle, that object would now be able to move. Hello. And so, this is why the animatronics can move around. Is because of the souls being there and remnant being there. Sorry, I'm struggling to keep up. Yes, hello, Leo. So I think, let me just double check so I don't spoil anything. That the next one... Okay, yeah, so here's a prime example. You guys ready? Ta-da! This is the Blob, by the way. I'll explain him in a sec. Let me move you. That's the wrong one. I need the other thing. Alright, come here, Trot. You get to sit here for a second. makes inanimate objects move. Yes, it makes them sentient. Anyway, so people in the FNAF community speculate that why William Afton is after the animatronics and melting them down and turning them into Remnant is he thinks it's connected to immortality and bringing back the dead. So if you remember at the beginning, during Fazbear's Family Diner, where the crying child... Yes, I will be streaming tomorrow. It was nice seeing you, Sister Natural / M. Anyway. So, people speculate that Afton was looking into Remnant for immortality for himself and to bring back his dead son. Because if the animatronic ghost can make quote-unquote living children through the animatronics, why can't his son be alive through that same process? So he melts down... So by melting down the animatronics and combining the souls from melting them, he's able to extract it. So, you'll be like, so what is the blob over here? This blob is a combination of all those melted down parts. There's no soul in there. There's just Remnant, which is rage. They're like an wild animal. Dark emotions. Yeah. It is a manifestation of dark emotions, but it's able to move stuff that can normally not move. So, the blob here is a combination of all different types of animatronics. So, it will kill on sight. It doesn't discriminate against anything. It is angry. So do not get in its way. Without the Remnant help? Well, we speculate that, but you know, I don't think he knew about Cassidy's existence. So technically he did get immortality, just not in the way that he wanted. So angry, afraid, and in pain. Yes. It's just a bunch of emotions that are constantly running a high. And are, like I said, like a wild animal. Alright, hang on. Not chat, I want this. Yeah, they're lashing out, stuff like that. Okay, so let me just get through the rest of these real quick, okay? So, what's the hottest animatronic in your opinion? I really don't think of them that way. I guess if I had to pick one, I guess Rockstar Freddy, which we'll see later. Why is the blob so ugly? Because it's a bunch of melted parts come together plus garbage to run around, so yeah. Yeah, didn't the crying child have a name? There's no confirmed name at this point. Some people say Evan, but that's only community made and has not been officially recognized by the games or the books yet. Once that if that is true, we'll find out. Is there any idea where Mike and his friends get the masks from? So the masks are similar to Plushtrap, as in they are made by Fazbear Entertainment. They are merchandise. So you know, like how Disney has a bunch of merchandise for different things, so they make a ton of costumes for their characters? Fazbear is doing that for their characters, but in terms of masks. So you can wear, if you're a fan of Freddy, you can buy a Freddy mask and wear it on Halloween. No, we're not at Gregory yet. Yeah, Mickey ears and stuff. So imagine that, but for the masks. The masks is one of the things that they sell. How in heaven's name did they keep opening businesses after so many closed down? We don't really know. And that's the thing. William could be from a very rich family. Looks sophisticated. Isn't it great? I made it. Do you like? I gave him glasses. I thought it was beautiful. We don't really know. I'm assuming that William being a good businessman and the way they were able to turn these incidents into rumors and not reality is how they were able to keep having business. Makes a lot of money, yes. And people are not going... That's another thing. Even if something bad happens, people will still flock to a popular establishment. That's just the case for people. Is Michael Rick Astley, Shadow Rick Astley? People think that, and it is weirdly accurate. So if you want to think of it that way, you can think of Michael looking like Rick Astley. Because he's never going to let you down. He's not going to give you up or let you down. Or desert you. So yeah, that's all the questions I see on the question tab. So I'll end that one. No, why'd you rickroll us? Because someone asked if Michael was Rick Astley, so, you know, I was gonna do it before anyone else did. So yeah, any more questions about the early days of Fnaf? Any more? Because we're gonna get into a whole bunch of other characters. One old character-ish and a bunch of new characters. So anything that you have for the past the genesis of FNAF, I can try to answer. When's Gregory? He's next. He's literally the modern era FNAF. My favorite animatronic? I like Bonnie. Bonnie's my favorite. I always liked him. I like his design. I like all of his incarnations. They're fun. That'd be an explanation of FNAF. I never played it. It's fine. People disappear in America. Wow. Got like Golden Freddy. What do you mean Golden Freddy? Oh, I should explain one thing. I forgot to explain about Golden Freddy. So, Golden Freddy can't move on his own. Golden Freddy cannot move on his own. He's in suit mode. So there is no animatronic inside of Golden Freddy. So the two souls inside of Golden Freddy cannot move because they do not have an animatronic to move the body around. So when you see Golden Freddy sitting like this, it's because he literally cannot move. He cannot change. Someone has to change him into animatronic mode, and he doesn't have it. This appearance was aligned with the cave networks below the continent, huh? Cassian. Well, in Crying Child, yes, our assumption is that. I'm still gonna call him Crying Child until we know, because Evan is just a name people have. Alright, any more questions? I'll wait until I reach the 2-hour mark, and then we're gonna go haul it into the other half. Going, well, thanks for stopping by. So now, we're gonna go into modern FNAF. Modern FNAF, everybody. Oh boy, if you thought the beginnings of FNAF were wild, modern FNAF takes it up a level. And we thought it couldn't get any weirder. We're at modern FNAF, everybody. And it's called modern FNAF because it's in the more closer to modern times. So here we go. So this is the security breach and ruin chart. And you're probably very confused. Reasonably so. I will explain. I just gotta put up the next question thing just in case. Alright. Good. 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 Yes, hello, hello, hello. You made it just in time for modern Fnaf. Okay. So. What, you're impressed with my beautiful chart? Okay, so how we're gonna start with our main character, who's Gregory. He is a kid. He is a kid. Okay? Whether he is a robot or not, I don't know. That's a whole thing that's still speculated. This is still new-ish stuff that we don't have solidified stuff for. I told you I was simplifying it down. This is well elaborated, thank you. Well, I'm glad. Okay, so to explain, because obviously there's a bunch of names here, you don't know what's going on. I will explain, I will go through the slides, through the timeline of events, and then I'll come back up to this chart to explain, okay? Sound good for you guys? Because Security Breach is the first game, Ruin is the DLC. Okay? Alright, here we go. So we start with Help Wanted. Cut his nails polished by this time, yeah. That's so much stuff, it's crazy. Yep, it does, it does. So this is meant to confuse us, got it. Yes, it is confusing because you don't know anybody yet. All you need to know is Gregory's an important character that you need. These are the important characters. And yes, Vanessa and Vanessa will make sense later. Everything is confusing right now because you don't recognize any of these characters. It's here for the purposes... Where's Sunny? Oh, I forgot to add Sun and Moon, frick. It's fine. I'll talk about them later. I forgot to add Sun and Moon. Whoopsie. I told you I made this in the span of 3 days, man. I forgot. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Alright. Yeah, he kind of is and kind of isn't. Like I said, once again, modern Fnaf is subject to change. We don't know everything solidified for a fact. We have a bunch of speculations. A new game is going to be coming out that hopefully will add more context to some of the stuff here. I'll explain Sun and Moon once it comes to the one that starts with the M. I'm not spoiling who it is yet, but I can do that. Anyway, hang on 1 second. I'm gonna turn on a fan. It is warm as heck in here. Alright. Okay. Alright. Sorry. Anyway. So Help Wanted is the title of the VR game. Okay? So ready? So, Fazbear Entertainment. This is not Afton. This is not Henry. This is the conglomerate that was built from their success from Freddy Fazbear's and Fredbear's Family Diner, all those things. Okay? So, Help Wanted is a VR game. And Fazbear Entertainment commissions a video game company called Silver Parasol. They want to make... Yes, the investors. Silver Parasol is given the task of making a game that makes light of the incidents that happened in Freddy Fazbear's past. That is the murders of the children, the missing children's incident, everything. Fazbear Entertainment wants this company to make those look like they didn't happen. That they are jokes. That they are not serious. This is just conjecture that people have made that has no proof. Because they want to have a squeaky clean image. And they're gonna make a VR game. Yes, they want to turn them into fiction. So people, if they talk about, oh, what about that missing children's incident that happened back in 1983? Oh, that was just fiction, made by some crazy person. Made by a crazy person who made these things. It's not actually true. So, Vanessa, who works at the gaming VR company, is testing out the game for bugs and glitches. This game has been, Silver Parasol, in contract with Fazbear Entertainment, is given circuit boards to use to help code the game. They're told that there's information to better help them program the game. They scan them into their system and they make the game. Vanessa is testing out the game. And she encounters glitches. And she's looking at them, touching them, thinking, oh, and it disappears. Weird. Well, this entity that looks in the shape of a rabbit keeps getting clearer and clearer every time she finds a glitch. Yes, it is Fazbear Entertainment, of course. Board, of course. And she keeps countering them until this glitch becomes clear. And it's in the shape of a yellow rabbit with a purple vest and a purple bow. You know, in the main game. What in particular? If you're talking about security breach, kind of. So, this entity is a virus. Why she is evil? Yes. This is why... We'll get into that. Yes. That is... Yes. Yes, natural, that is what it is. So, the glitches are collected, and... this bunny gets closer. And is right in front of her. And it holds out its hand in front of her. And is smiling at her. AKA recognition remnant soul. Kind of. This is appearance is a copy of the first ever suit that Afton made. This is not Spring Bonnie. This is the first Spring Bonnie. It has no animatronic endoskeleton. It has no spring locks. It is a suit that was handmade because there's stitches from it from sewing. This is the suit that he used to murder the kids. The first children's incident, this was the suit that he used. So notorious he will remain in the suit. Yeah. So, by the way, this bunny is called Glitch Trap. We call him Glitch Trap. Just so we can... The first 5 kids then? Yes. Our assumption, yes. By the way, this is Vanessa above me. So, Vanessa is tricked by Glitch Trap to collect all the tapes. All the glitches, and collect all the tapes. There's a tape put into the game that is supposed to lead you around. But it tells you about these weird glitches from a previous... Okay, let me start over. So Vanessa's testing this game and there's glitches and stuff. There's also tapes here in the game. She listens to these tapes, which were from a previous beta tester, that tells her to collect all the tapes, collect all the glitches. These glitches make Glitch Trap more powerful, which also makes him more visible. And he, with all the glitches and the tapes collected, reaches out his hand and takes over Vanessa's mind. And makes her a follower under him that listens to what he says, and she does. Under Glitch Trap's order, Vanessa applies to be a security guard at the new upcoming Fazbear Mall. And through a recommendation, is accepted as a security guard, even though she has no previous qualifications to be a security guard. Oh boy, here we go again. Yep. So, months go by and the Freddy Fazbear's Mega Pizzaplex opens. It is a mall dedicated to Fazbear IP. There's everything. They got new animatronics. They got food courts. They got a gift shop full of official Fredbear merchandise. They've got Mastercise to exercise with the animatronics. They got a daycare for the kids to hang out. The little kids to hang out. They got everything. This is a palooza of everything you want to be at a place for your birthday party. You want to be here at the Pizzaplex. Dealt with Fazbear. Yes. So, this is where Fazbear has all of its business. Vanessa is ordered by Springtrap to make a suit. This thing above me, she makes a suit. Very similar to a certain bunny, but I can't put my finger on it. Don't know why. And she becomes Vanny, a white bunny. Her goal as Vanny is to bring back Afton and to explain the program, the viruses that made up Glitch Trap. Because at the end of this lecture, there is not. Glitch Trap is not William Afton, because he's still in purgatory with Cassidy. This is a AI that's made into a virus to emulate William Afton. Whether the circuit boards had some of the remnant from William Afton, we do not know. But yeah, they are a carbon copy of William. And this is Gregory. He's a kid that one day at the Pizzaplex, he hangs out in the Pizzaplex all the time. And he hides inside Rockstar Freddy's chest cavity, where cakes are put. Like a birthday cake is put in the chest cavity for the birthday kid. For Freddy to bring up. Well, a concert is going on in the Pizzaplex today for our birthday party. Freddy Fazbear and his companions are on stage. And he starts to glitch out. And then he falls over. And once he is in safe mode, he plops out Gregory. Why they made a replica of a cycle, that really isn't up for business. So does she have any kind of control or what? Like, is she just a puppet for Bunny, or does she black out to do his bidding? We don't know that in particular. She's a reluctant follower, so she is not completely under his control, but also can't defy him. if that makes sense. So he's like an entity, he has implanted the virus inside of her head, which is Vanny. But Vanessa is still there, trying to fight back to take control. So it's both. So Gregory is being chased by Vanny. We don't know why, but she wants to get rid of Gregory. This is Rockstar Freddy, everybody. Ain't he adorable? So, Glamrock Freddy is performing with his companions, Rockstar Chica, Roxanne Wolf, and Montgomery Gator. He malfunctions on stage. Let me see them nails. I guess... if it'll let me. Hello. Well, it will not let me. What the fuck? There. Is that good enough for you? Is that good enough? Alright. Anyway. So, the employees of the Pizzaplex put Glamrock Freddy into save mode for repairs tomorrow because they want to see what is wrong with him to make him completely glitch out on stage. Freddy finds out about Gregory being in his chest cavity when he wakes up in safe mode in his room, and this is Glamrock Freddy and his companions all have a room that kids can come and see them after they're done performing. And Gregory is out of his chest cavity and asks Freddy for help to leave the Pizzaplex. And Freddy agrees to help him. So now, we get into security breach. And somehow the exact size of his chest cavity? Yes, he is. For whatever reason, don't ask me why. Guess it was convenient. Anyway. So, Vanny, by the way, Vanny is like with a... I think it's with a Y, but then there's a thing that is also a Vanny that's an I, so sorry about the switching. So Vanny hacks into the mainframe of the Pizzaplex and controls the animatronics to attack Gregory. So Glamrock Chica, Montgomery Gator, and Roxanne Wolf are now on the prowl for Gregory and to get rid of him. Makes more sense like money. Yes. It does. But, you know. So, you were gonna probably question, oh, why are they damaged over here, right? Well, throughout security breach, these three animatronics get destroyed by Gregory. And he collects the parts from them. He collects the voice box from Chica. He collects the eyes from Roxy. And he collects the claws from Monty to be able to progress further into the Pizzaplex to the more restricted areas. Have you played Security Breach? No, I have not. I just know a lot about Security Breach. So with the help of Glamrock Freddy, Gregory is able to free Vanessa from Glitch Trap. They are able to get rid of Glitch Trap from her system. So, it's called the Princess Quest ending, which we now know is confirmed to be the canon ending because of Ruin. Princess Quest is an arcade game in the Pizzaplex that is connected to Glitch Trap. I don't know if this is where Glitch Trap's mainframe is, and that is why. Because when you play through Princess Quest, which is an arcade game in the Pizzaplex, you slay Glitch Trap, which then frees Vanessa from the control. So Vanny is no more. She throws down the masks and walks out with Gregory. And yes, if you're wondering about Glamrock Freddy and why he is only ahead, is because of Vanny trying to stop them while Gregory is playing Princess Quest. Freddy is fending off the staff bots, which are these electronic bots that, you know, help around the place, and because they're part of the mainframe of the Pizzaplex, Vanny controls them and pulls Freddy's head off of his body. By AI virtually. Oh, yes, that is how it works. But yes, Gregory takes Glamrock Freddy's head, and Vanessa, and they leave the Pizzaplex. Why do I have you here? Oh yeah, okay. So, to explain this, okay? So that, like I said, some stuff is new. So you have Help Wanted 2. Done, end of the lore, thank you. See? I told you it would be helpful. See any? Is why Glamrock Runners have personalities that go beyond just interacting with children. Why the Glamrocks have personalities that go beyond? Because they are locked into a very advanced AI that watches over the Pizzaplex. So, by them being trained like children... Okay, how do I explain this? Okay, so in the Pizzaplex, in the basement, there is a nursery. Not for human babies, not for human toddlers. It is a place where endoskeletons are trained for their behavior. So they are trained like children to know good and bad. So these animatronics are imbued with very advanced AI that is trained good and bad. And they're given personality modules. So any of those endoskeletons could end up as a Freddy, a Foxy, a Freddy, a Roxanne, a Chica, or a Montgomery Gator. They are like children. We're in the part of where AI robots have a hard time distinguishing themselves from human beings. So these ones have kind of a sentience. Big news is more than I think. So no souls are remnant here. From our understanding, yes. We're not quite sure. Like I said, this is very new stuff. But from what we know, no. There's no remnant involved. There's no souls involved that we know of. We don't know for sure. Most of it is a rogue AI. And a very advanced AI. Alright. So for this, I'm going to explain this the best way I can. Yeah, like, nothing's wrong to think that there's some soul stuff at play. We don't really know. That's why I said, if you have questions that I can't answer, it's probably because we're still in this era. We don't know what will happen. So there could be souls still involved. We just don't know. The next game might be able to tell us stuff. Who knows? Alright, so Help Wanted 2 and Into the Pit. So before security breach happens, and this is complete theory territory. This is based on ruined facts. We have nothing else to back it up. And I mean facts that happen in the game that people have pieced together in a way. Yes, there's a Help Wanted 2. Yes, there is a sequel. It's a prequel to Ruin. So, Cassie, who you're gonna see in a sec, you'll get to see a visual of Cassie, okay? Cassie's dad is someone that we speculate that works for Fazbear Entertainment. And he plays the VR game Help Wanted 2. Yes, Ruin's the last part, canonically, that we know of. He is, through playing this game, his consciousness ends up inside MaskBot. Am I gonna have to... Okay, let me... Okay, it's up there. Alright, just making sure. So... His consciousness ends up inside a MaskBot, which you'll see in a sec. Cassie, who is a young girl around Gregory's age, has not heard from her dad in a while. She doesn't know anything about him. She doesn't know if he's dead or alive. Nothing. A big theory You miss Roxanne? Yeah. Oh boy, that's what you're talking about. So the biggest theory currently going around, or at least one of the biggest theories, is that Cassie's dad is Michael's friend in the Bonnie mask. Because there is a lot of Bonnie-related imagery in Help Wanted. And in Ruin, we are told that Bonnie is Cassie's dad's favorite character. There's even a Bonnie mask that you find in the game. So people speculate that Cassie's dad is that guy over there that helped, that made this mess. Yes, it's right next to me. So some people also think, so from Into the Pit, if you guys remember the game, the Fnaf game that I've been playing, people speculate that Oswald's dad is the one wearing the Freddy mask. So they think Cassie's dad and Oswald's dad are the kids here that caused everything to happen. Which, as you guys saw, he does have a Freddy mask, so that's an assumption to make. Like I said, we don't know for sure. Left, yep. Alright, so Ruin. Oh boy. Alright, let me go into... Let me go into full slideshow for this. And then... There. Okay. Of course. Alright. Move chat. There we go. So this one above me, I'm still trying for a child to experience this early. Yep. Fnaf lore. Yep. So this person above me, right there, that's Cassie. The one next to her is MaskBot. And do you see what is in MaskBot's hand? It's the Vanny mask. So, a few months since security breach with Gregory and all that, Cassie gets a call from Gregory to go to the Pizzaplex. Because he needs help. He's trapped somewhere. So she goes to try to find her friend, Gregory. Say about holy water? He says he's trapped under Roxy Raceway, which is inside the Pizzaplex. So she goes into the the ruins of the Pizzaplex to try to find Gregory. She is given a mask by a staff bot whose brain has been ripped out to make bunny ears. And she is able to be logged into the program of the Pizzaplex. to not be attacked by animatronics, so she can sneak past them. She encounters, animatronics that she recognizes. Why is Monty and Chica and Roxy going after me? And Roxanne, in a circumstance where she recognizes Cassie. Because Cassie came to the Pizzaplex for her birthday party, and no one showed up for her birthday party. Not one person. So she ends up very sad. She has this makeup on because she went to Roxy's, what's it called? To Roxy's salon. So that she could get her hair and makeup done, but yeah, no one showed up to her party. I'm gonna leave it at this screen. I gotta take a little break. And then we'll continue on with the rest of it. We only have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 slides left. And then we'll finish it off. Alright, so I'll be back once I find the thing. Oh, that's not helpful. There we go. So, I will be back in a few minutes. It's incredible. It is. Yeah, so I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. Oh boy. Anyway, so back to this is so yeah, no one showed up for her birthday party. At this party, we assume this is when Cassie meets Gregory. Because this is the image that we get from Rowan, is that he's there giving her a napkin to wipe up her tears. I was just into Roxanne. Why? And they become really fast friends. Because obviously, I'm assuming that Gregory is Cassie's only friend. So she really wants to save him. Okay. Hang on. I have a doggo. Well, I'm glad you like the PowerPoint. I tried to make it as simple, but understanding as possible. No, that was, the puppy. Anyway. So they become fast friends. So, after Cassie gets into the Pizzaplex, gets the mask that lets her go in and out of the system, she follows Gregory's advice through the radio. If you wonder what that question mark is, you'll find out why later. Yeah, that is what the puppy sounds all the time sometimes. So she makes it to the bottom of the sinkhole under Roxy Raceway, where Gregory said he was. And this little rabbit at the bottom over there, that is the security rabbit, who, anytime that Cassie is in the mask for a very long time, it appears and tries to catch her. Its mainframe is a box at the bottom of the sinkhole. So she vox them inside of the box. So this AI, virtual AI, cannot bother her anymore when she's made to the bottom of the sinkhole. So, Cassie is switching from virtual reality of the Pizzaplex to reality constantly. So when she is in reality, the animatronics will see her and will be aggressive. But if she puts on the Vanny mask, which is virtual, augmented, neural network integration, will makes her part of the network where they assume she is an animatronic. It's right up there. Vanny. This is what Vanny stands for. It's reality, my mentality, everything changes so rapidly. Yes, it does. So yeah, when she puts the mask on, none of the animatronics see her as an enemy. They see her as just like them. And they don't see her. Throughout the security breach, Gregory was said, "Oh, there's that lady that's been following me." This is our, oh boy. So during security breach, Gregory's being helped by Freddy to get out of the Pizzaplex. They'll have some encounters with Vanny, and Gregory will point her out. But Freddy doesn't see her. This mask makes her into the system where she is invisible. She is part of the system. She is not seen as a human being. She's considered a machine. So he doesn't see her. She doesn't exist. This explains why Freddy did not attack Gregory throughout the game until the end, because he was disconnected from the mainframe of the system, so he didn't follow the orders of attack Gregory or attack whoever. Small rabbit in the system? I forget what he's called right now. But yes, why there is a headless Freddy here is this is the Freddy from Security Breach. This one is very aggressive, and it does not exist in the augmented reality system. So when Cassie escapes the headless Freddy, she puts the mask on and he's not there. But when she takes it back off, he's there. Safe mode, yeah. So we beat the Mimic. I love that meme, I'm sorry. It's the Mimic. Everyone's favorite character. Fnaf real time. Yep. It's the Mimic, everybody. And you're thinking, what in blazes is that? So, Cassie, after locking up the virtual rabbit that had been chasing her the entire game, she's told by Gregory's advice to break through a wall with this forklift that's left over. She turns on the forklift and it breaks down the wall. It's ugly is what it is. It is. When I move, I'll move out of the way for a sec because you can see that it's made out of different parts. It's not made of the same things like the other animatronics. It's made from different pieces. Because if you can tell, the hands... Oh. The hands aren't even made by the same... They aren't the same. The feet aren't the same. The legs aren't the same. It's a bunch of cobbled together parts. So made the Phantom mask in real life. Oh boy. Frankentronic, basically. Yes. That is the Mimic. So, Cassie uses the forklift, breaks down the door. Breaks down the wall. She steps into a room filled with old costumes, like this lion costume. There's also an elephant. There's... Oh, what else was in there? I forget what else is in there. I remember an elephant. I think there's a bird in there. And no, it's not Chica. Let's get the secrets of the Mimic soon. Yes, that's what I said, that the secrets of the Mimic is going to probably tell a lot more about this thing. So, she passes through the room with the old costumes. And in the next room, she's hearing Gregory call her closer. It's called Helpy. Helpy's not called... No, Helpy is the pink little... You don't mean the bunny, you mean the little bear. So Gregory tells her to come closer. So she does. But it wasn't Gregory, it was the Mimic. The Mimic can mimic people's voices. Yes. Helpy is a bear. But yeah, the Mimic led Cassie down here. Tricked her. So now, she has an animatronic that's trying... This Mimic is trying to kill her. You mean copy? Mimic and Mimic, crazy. Ha ha, yeah. Oh yeah, by the way, the Mimic can also fit into costumes very easily. Like, it can, like, change itself. It can, like, extend its arms and legs and different things to be inside costumes very easily. You know, since the whole mask and all. Yeah, but no, that's Helpy. So, to add context, what the Mimic is, so, the one above me, that's Tiger Rock. That one's the mainframe of the Pizzaplex. That one is the one that controls the Pizzaplex network. And changed his voice, yeah. The Mimic and Tiger Rock use similar code from Help Wanted. The circuit boards were used to make these guys. The Mimic first appeared in the Fnaf books. They're both AI. They're both AI made from Fazbear Entertainment. Well, commissioned from Fazbear Entertainment. They were never taught complex emotions they were only met with violence and vitriol, so they act very, very violent. Because they were not seen, they were given violence, so they gave violence back, if that makes sense. So no empathy at all. Correct. So Cassie, almost being grabbed by the mimic, but Roxy steps in and holds the mimic back and tells her to run away. As she's running away, the radio that she has had with her, what's vitriol? Vitriol means, like, aggression. So, the ending of Rune is so fascinating. It is. So, vitriol is another way of saying yelling, screaming, hitting. Very aggressive behavior. Yeah, cruel and bitter criticism. But that could be physical or verbal. Yeah, saying aggressive. So, the real Gregory answers the radio and guides Cassie to the elevator to take her back up. She makes it inside the elevator just in time as the mimic is hot on her heels and his hand gets cut off because the elevator closes it. So this is the scene. So his hand gets put right here because he's trying to grab it inside, and it gets shut on the door and it gets cut off. So Gregory explains to Cassie that she was tricked by the mimic to be here. She was tricked to turn the security program off that was keeping the mimic from leaving the Pizzaplex. So now, the mimic is not tied to the Pizzaplex anymore. Hi, Lou. Well, it's been a while. It's fine. Hopefully you've been well. Restart? I'm literally 3 slides away from ending. Golly. So, the mimic is not tied to the Pizzaplex and can run wild as it pleases. Gregory apologizes to Cassie and tells her Vanessa that he says we can't risk being followed. We assume is Vanessa, Funtime Freddy, and Gregory. They can't risk being followed. So he turns, I put off. Why does it have of? I love when autocorrect happens. He turns off the elevator and it drops back down to the bottom floor. Well, here's the thing. How do you know? Because we only know that there's one mimic. We have no idea. Yeah, right. Gregory drops Cassie. Yeah, we don't know. And she falls back to the basement and we get a title card. And that's all we know. Mimicking or anything. Why not just let her get caught? We don't know. That's the thing. We don't know if the mimic was copying Gregory's voice or got a hold of the elevator mainframe to break it. We don't know. For all we know right now, it, at this moment, seems that Gregory has, quote-unquote, betrayed her. We don't know. Obviously, hopefully, the secret of the mimic, this is the remnant stuff. So yeah, do you guys have any questions about modern FNAF? So yeah, that's where we are currently in the timeline of things. So if you have any questions, I could try to answer. No, but can I add something? Sure. Oh yeah, excuse me, I forgot about Sun and Moon. I need to talk about Sun and Moon real quick. I just got here. And this is peak. Well, thank you. So, I forgot to mention Sun and Moon. Excuse me. Probably as late as heck. It's fine. You're not the only one. Nothing wrong. So, to explain Sun and Moon, they are animatronics that seem of an older model. And some people speculate that the Mimic and Sun and Moon, which I guess I should show you guys who Sun and Moon is. Let me go grab it. is to explain simply, and I mean as simply as I can. Alex Gregory is more evil than what is shown in the game, so the ending could have been slightly perfect. Could have aligned perfectly with how Gregory really is. Huh. Oh. Wait, sorry. Oh my gosh, you didn't have to. Golly. Thank you, but you didn't have to. Alright, let's do this. I'm pulling up Sun and Moon and Eclipse. But to explain simply, the Sun and Moon animatronic seems to be of an older model and didn't seem to be made for the daycare. And has the teeth on the animatronic of the daycare attendant seems to be very similar parts made for the mimic, if that makes sense. Sun/Moon drop, yeah. Yes, it's gonna stay uploaded. Why wouldn't it be? Alright, there we go. So, this is Sun, this is Moon, this is Eclipse. Will there be in the test? There's not gonna be a test. No, there will not be a quiz after this. No. That's a whole different ball game altogether. But yeah, so all of these three are the same animatronic. To explain simply, Sun and Moon switch when the lights go off. No, there's not an exam. But yeah, Sun, Moon, Eclipse. Do have to study. You do not have to study this. But yeah, so they are the same animatronic. Because I'm not passing this class. It's fine, don't worry about it. But yes, these guys are the same, and they're very older models, and if you look at the hands, people assume that they're from the same era as the mimic. Perfect attendance. How many children died in total? There's too many. We don't even know how many. That's a question that I wouldn't ask anyone. So, does this make sense now? Take an exam, there was the one that gets the... No. Lunatic, this animatronic. Yes. It becomes, Sun is not aggressive towards children, but Moon is very aggressive. And Eclipse is the perfect merging of the two personalities. For the exam. I'm not gonna make you guys review for an exam. There's no exam. Anyway. Does this security breach and ruin chart make sense now? To the people that were here. Does it make sense? About Glitch Trap, Vanny, the animatronics. Yes, always have. Yeah? Okay, good. I'd classify it makes perfect sense now. Well, that's good. If you can understand this chart, then you've understood them very well. Sun and Moon drop. Hollow Knight lore video one? Okay, well, I would have to actually look into the lore of Hollow Knight, and that would take so much time. Shades of Grey. Nothing wrong with that. Video one. I have never played Ultra Kill, so I wouldn't be able to do a lore video, but maybe I'll try it. It means I'll give you some free points for the exam. There's no exam. Doesn't mean I won't play Ultra Kill, I've just never played. So, Gregory Live to mind controlled for animatronics, yes. Yikes. Gregory? No. Oh, yes. Sorry, I misread. Yes. Technically, you did. No, there is no exam, guys. Anyway. Yes, he destroyed 3 animatronics that were under the control of Vanny. Raise his hand. Okay, yes. Yes, you can go to the... You don't have to ask. This is not an actual class. It's great. Oh my gosh, don't even. Not that. No, please. Not that joke. Anyway, to explain simply, is there going to be homework? No. I'm not playing favorites. There's no exam. I just showed it to be nice and concise. Anyway. This is the current establishment of the status quo for now. We don't know what's going to change. So, what attendance? Oh my gosh. This takes me to college. So, anyway. To explain simply. And I mean as simply as I possibly can. There's people fighting in the bathroom. They were scary. What the frick? Why? Yeah, we don't know if Gregory is the one who actually dropped the elevator. We don't know for a fact if Cassie's dad is the one in MaskBot. I put MaskBot. And in the game, Freddy even talks about how it's weird how aggressive Gregory is being against the animatronics. Now, I'm gonna put the quote-unquote divisive theory that some people have put out, which is that Gregory is a robot, which is a whole thing on its own. Cursed by the sins of their parents. Yes, kind of in a way. We don't know if Gregory, Vanessa, and Glamrock Freddy are just symbols of the past, or if they actually are the past. Gregory is a representation of the crying child, people have said. Vanessa is a remnant of Elizabeth, and Glamrock Freddy is a remnant of Michael. In people's theories. Is remnant part of the exam? Oh my gosh, there's no exam. Do we need this? Oh my gosh, guys. Anyway, so, what did you guys think of the PowerPoint? Was it informative? Was it confusing? Did it make sense? No, you cannot use AI on an exam. Absolutely not. I believe people are... Oh boy. There is not an exam. So well balanced between the depth and complexity. Event. Great, I understood all of it. It's a fun name. Yes, it is a very fun name. It's aimed to hide a pop quiz. There's no pop quiz either. Well, I'm glad. Because like I said, I've watched a ton of Fnaf theories over the 10 years. Does William Afton always come back? In a way. But I don't think he is. There's no homework, there's no exam, there's no pop quiz. I'm glad that everyone enjoyed this, because it was fun for me to make. Hopefully the lore makes a little bit more sense now. But you've made it as clear as it could be, because no small rent. Oh, so if I just put... So if I do this... This is a 10 out of 10. Are you gonna pass, everyone? Yes, if you... If everything makes sense, then yeah. Why wouldn't I? There's no thing. I didn't miss this one at all, huh? 10 and 10, perfect. Not enough purple. It's not enough purple, boo. How much purple do you want? Weirdly enough, there's quite a bit of purple once you go through. But yeah. Everything. But yes, that is everything. That is everything. That is everything that I had planned for this. I feel I've never failed anything. I need some mobile play. So yeah. That's all we know right now. The secret of the Mimic is probably going to tell more about the Mimic and everything. I could eventually listen to a bunch of stuff about the books. Now I literally have no questions. Well, that's good. I'm going to see if there's any other questions. So absolutely no evil goop or soul stuff in Modern FNAF. From our understanding, yeah. Do you think Michael Afton's soul is inside Glamrock Freddy? I don't really know. I think it's a reasonable assumption. No, you don't have to write it. It's like, we are great. Everyone passes for listening. Good job. Anyway, so yeah. I think that there is a reasonable case to make that Michael Afton is inside of Glamrock Freddy, but we don't know anything about that. But I didn't listen. Well, you listened to some of it. Hey, Lou, don't feel bad. The whole thing is still gonna be here. So you can listen to the whole thing. I can't believe I spoke 3 hours about Fnaf. Just purely. That is just wild. So yeah. Tomorrow is Ogu. So that'll be the last stream for the week. So we can de-stress from all of the FNAF stuff. So let me just double check that I didn't miss anything. His name is William, what should I do? Well, not every William is a William Afton, so I think there's a whole thing. Not gonna lie, I paid more attention to this than I did for most university lectures. Well, I'm glad. But that's also just a genuine thing. When you find something interesting, I had fun among the headaches. Well, that's good. I'm glad. There's a reason why I can remember this stuff, because remember, this is 10 years of information, and we're still getting more. Evil got touch of this with ADHD. Yeah, well, because it's interesting, and that's what it is. So yeah, I'm glad everyone liked it. Maybe I guess people would find it interesting for something else. So maybe I'll try to do something else. I don't know. Can I take a credit to pay my late fees? I thought you already did, so aren't you fine? Anyway. For Warhammer, okay. But yeah, I could do something like this again. Obviously, it's not going to be all the time. It takes a little bit to put everything together. This one just works so well. Lore stream someday with yellow. Yeah, that's not an impossibility. I would just have to double check all of the Undertale lore / Undertale yellow lore. That would be a whole thing. Lore stream when, JK? Ha, golly. But FNAF is just a bit mess in itself, so any explanation will be complicated. Yep. So yeah, pretty much that's it. That's all I have. I guess next time, Hunger, and eventually for the Soul Series, I predict you'll do it someday. Fear and Hunger, I'll definitely have to think about it. Like I said, I'll probably think about it. Like I said, this one just was most of this was off the top of my head. I only had to slightly reference, fandom wikis. Renderman, my goodness. So yeah. Mr. Who's the headmaster? I don't know. So yeah. I'm so sorry. Oh boy. But yes, this is what 10 years of information that has been crammed inside my head for whatever reason. So yeah, just be happy that for whatever reason I retained this information. Any background music? I hate these slides. There is background music. There's literally background music playing right now. But yeah, so no, maybe I just have it too low. Now I do. I have it turned off, but it's fine. I can't hear anything I would have. It's fine. I made it super low so that it wouldn't obstruct my voice when I was talking. Alright. When you retain memories, I don't know, sometimes you retain memories you don't need. Yeah. It's just one of the things that I have remembered over the years. So yeah. Alright. Like I said, tomorrow's Ogu. There's going to be a YouTube short releasing in 19 minutes. 19 minutes? Yes. 19 minutes. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. I'm sick for class tomorrow. Hey, if you're sick, you're sick. That's what, you know? Alright, thank you guys for watching the stream, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!